Hello everyone, welcome to the session. I hope all are doing well. So now we are going to discuss about some examples regarding mathematical functions in the def. So yeah, import math. We are using with the import. Sorry, we are importing the math. So we are going through the examples regarding this mathematics. So here, first one is import math module imported successful. So this is basic thing. So no need. And after that, yeah, common math functions. So this is for square root. We already discussed about the square root. So how the square root will be like, what are the common errors in the square root? And we discussed about that thing. So here the square root. So what is the function square root? How we are right? So sqrt. This is the function for square root. So now import math. See, we already know that how this import math was works. So without this import math, it did not understand what is this math dot square root and numeric. Here we are going to the example. So number equals to 64. Okay, number equals to 64 and result equal to math dot square root of 64. So we know that how to like take a square root and how to do square of the number and how to do square root of the number. And here it is that result equal to math dot what is the function, like when how we use in the random, same as here also. When we are using this so for suppose result equal to random dot random integer random range like choice, otherwise uniform. So these functions we how we are using with the random dot. So same as here, we have to use like importing math. After this import math, we are using math dot square root. So math dot power, like that. So when you're using dot here, means it was saying that uh, this term which was square root was belongs to math function, like that. So it works, the properties like that. So when you do this math dot square root sqrt of number, which you have to enter only one number, and after that you will get the result. What is that? What is the root of 64? The root of 64 was 8. So result, it gives to the variable result. Okay, this value was 8, so the 8 will be assigned to the variable result, so we will get the answer. So like this, for example, take it as an input. Okay, so enter number. Yeah, after running it, it will ask the number. For example, 78, 8.83, 8 is 64, right? So sorry, 8 into 8 was 64. So after the 64, we are having 81, because 9 into 9, 81. So like that, in between these, like the 78 was in between the 64 and 81. So that is the reason we got 8.83, like that. If it will above the 81, then you have to use 9 point something. Here the root of the 78 was, the value was 8.83. So this is the like square root. You have to use square root in the form of this, and after this power. Okay, so power. So how we already discussed about this thing, like why we are getting in decimal places. So yeah, because of that, the function is designed like that. We mathematical functions, both this square root and power, the both of the functions are designed like it have to be given in a decimal, like float data type. So this is the float type. So yeah, float data type, and this is also in a float data type. So when we go with the power, so in power you have to give, in power you have to give two arguments, because power means we need two arguments, which was one is base and one is exponent. So, but in square root, one number is enough because another will be root means 1 by 2. So there is no need of giving again variable and root. So root means 1 by 2 and we have to give only one number. But here math dot power we have to give both base and exponent. So when we are giving it will getting one answer like one integer, so it will assign to the result, not integer, it will get the float because we already discussed it, right? The property of this power was will giving the float data type. So result was a float data type. So if you change like take this as int of input, enter number. Okay. So same as for base how we taken. So take for exponent also. Okay, run this. So after importing math, it will ask the two inputs. One is base, one is exponent. So for base, I will give 3. For exponent, I will give 5. So it says that 243. 3 3s are 9, 9 3s are 27, 27 3s are like that. 81 3s are 243. So we're going up to 243. But yeah, like that. So this is how we are finding the power. For example, you can use this power in the form, write this as a float. Okay, exponent is a float. So when you run it again and it will ask the number, for example you enter 64. Okay, 64 is an integer. Now we says that we are entering float data type, right? So enter 0.5, 8.0. So this is how like square root also same we get. When we enter 64, we getting 8.0. But when you use square root, you only get the answer for square root. So when you use power, right? So there is no square root. Cube root also. For example, if I enter 64 and I enter 0.5 is 1 by 2. So for 1 by 3, 0.33, right? 0.33? Yeah, 0.33. So enter. 3.9 means approx 4. Yeah, true. Because, okay, then do one thing. It print it as a 0.34. 64. What is the cube root of 64? 4 into 4, 16. 16 into 4, 64. So here the cube root, okay, the cube root means which a number we into the number itself 3 times, so we will get the 64. So for which number it works means we will get 4. Okay, for 4 we get 64. 4 cube 64, right? So like that 64 cube root was 4. So how we get 4? We have to enter exact value of 1 by 3. How we enter the exact value of 1 by 2? Same as we have to enter exact value of 1 by 3. So when we are using like giving the exact value of 1 by 3, that is it was a like 0.33 and so on. So can you have to give 0.34 for example. So it doesn't give the exact value because we don't need the exact value of 1 by 3. So we are giving approx 0.34 or 0.33. So it was giving that 3.9, 4.1. But in between that 4 was there, but it didn't give that because we are not entering the exact value. So leave that 1 by 3 means cube root. So let's do with the quarter root. Quarter root, yeah, we can call it quarter root. So 2 power 4 was 16, right? So enter 16. Okay, enter the 16. So 16 having like 2 power 4 was 16. So when we do the quarter root for 16, we will get 2. For example, quarter root means what is the meaning? So 16 power 1 by 4. Like how we do for the square root. Square 16 power 1 by 2 like that, quarter means 16 power 1 by 4. So same thing, what is the value of 1 by 4? 1 by 4 having an exact value that was 0.25. So same as 0.25. Enter 2. So here 2 power 4 was 16. So we are getting 2 like that. So enter number. We can find the both roots and yeah, cube root, square root, or quarter root like that. We can get both of that roots as well as squares of when we are using power. But when you use power, you get only roots. But yeah, only square roots, not roots also square roots. For example, for 3, if we enter like this, so what will be happening? For example, 64, same thing again. So here 1 by 3. Okay, error because could not convert string to float. Here it was saying that 1 by, right? So this symbol you have to enter a float integer. So you enter like this. It doesn't convert that. So you have to convert and you have to give the exact value of 1 by 3. So there is no exact value of 1 by 3. Like we get 0.333 and so on. So for that there is no, we cannot get the exact value 4 for the cube root of 64. Not cube root of 64. For any cube root, we did not get the exact value. Because of this, we don't know the exact value of 1 by 3. So when you run, if you give same as 2, 4, 3, which was 81 threes are right. Sorry, 81 into 3, right? So here give 3. No, no, no. 2, 4, 3. Exponent was 0.25. 3.9 for something because we done 3 power 5. So 1 when we did 3 power 5 we get 2 for 3. So we have to do 3 power 5 means here we have to do penta root. No, don't call like that. So 1 by 5. Okay, you can call it 1 by 5. So how we do with the 1 by 5? So 2, 4, 3, enter. So what is the value of 1 by 5? Because 3 power 5 equal to 243. So if the 3 power 5 goes to the right hand side, so what will be happen? 243 whole power 1 by 5. 5 becomes 1 by 5 there. So same as enter number. So what is the number here? 1 by 5. So what is the value of 1 by 5? Exact value was 0.2. So 0.2. 3. So how this is the way of getting like that. So both we can find the cube root, square root, quarter root, any root, and we find the root square, I mean powers also. So 243 power 0.2 means 2 power 3, 1 by 5 means 3 by 5 equal to 243 like that. So we will get with the using this power function, and after that ceil. So we already discussed about this thing. So uh, one example is enough for that because having only 6. So sail means I already done on this. So floor means which was below like 5.2, right? So whether it was 6 or 5. So when we are using the mathematic like converting the float to the which, suppose here we used this function sail. So what the meaning was? We have to go above because sail means like you can say ceiling. Okay. So what is the meaning was? Ceiling always top, top of the room. So 5.2. What is the top of the 5.2? What is the above the 5.2? 6. 6 was the integer which immediately comes after this float. Okay, this float we get the integer that was 6. So if you use same with the same value, if you use floor here, so what will be happen? So if you use floor here, it will say 5. because floor means which was bottom of the room. So bottom means which was below the like certain point. So here 5.2. So we have to give an integer which was below the 5.2. So which was near and below the 5.2, 5. 5 is the only integer which near and below the 5.2. So there are two integers which was near to the 5.2, 5 and 6. And that too, if we use floor, right? So floor means which was below. So 5.2 is greater than 5. So 5 is the below. We choose 5. When we are going to the side, so 6 was greater than 5.2. So 6 was the answer for when we use the function ceil. So this is the thing. There is no need of learning more because a basic concept is enough. Factorial, import math, number equal to 5. Same, directly use the name factorial there. Like before time when we are going to find the factorial of a number, so we have to do, yeah. So for loop, using the for loop. So, but now when we import the math, okay, when we import the math, that is enough for that because when we are importing the math, factorial is of one of the function for finding the factorial of a number. So import math, and after that math dot factorial of a number, which you have to enter here number. So when you run it, it will ask the input. For example, I want 7 factorial 5040. So what was going on over here? Import math. So the factorial here. Before time when we going in a def or like in for loop while loop. So we used this for loop while loop for finding the factorial of a number. But see here, with just he was doing in a 3 lines of code like importing math. So when he import the math, so it will choose that math dot like factorial. So here the factorial is not a variable. Factorial is a one of the function to find the factorial of a number. So here he was used the function factorial so that we are getting the factorial of a number. He did not assign to any other variable like result equal to math dot factorial of number. He just keep the math dot factorial directly inside the print. So there is no problem with that. Uh, Not assigning to a variable also not a problem. So when you run it, you have to go give a input. So the output is based on input, which was we given 10. So what's the factorial of 10? The factorial of 10 was 3628800. So this is how a factorial function works. So yeah, just previously we have to explain everything detailedly, but here there is a only functions, right? So we already know that how a factorial like find like when we are giving a number, so how a factorial works. So like if we give 5, 5 into 4 into 3 into 2 into 1 up to 1. So 0 is no problem, but the value of 0 here, the value of 0 factorial was 1. So and if you're giving 10, right? So 10 into 9 into 8 into up to 1 into 0, 0 factorial. Okay, not 0, 0 factorial. After that, GCD, greatest common divisor. Okay, LCM means yeah, least common multiplier something. So here import math. So import math is compulsory because we are using the functions which was inside the mathematics. So you have to import the math, and after that a equal to 48, b equal to 18. You have to give two inputs because with these two inputs it will give the answer. So inside the GCD there is two arguments are compulsory. So we already discussed it in when we had tried with the different functions. So it was showing that you entered only one argument. You have to enter two arguments. You have to three enter. You entered three arguments. You have to enter up to two arguments only, like that. So same as here in GCD, we can enter up to two arguments. If you enter one argument, it will show error, and if you enter three arguments also, it will show error. I think yeah, no. For example, let's see about this thing, which was we can in GCD we can insert many maybe because how if we do LCM right for three numbers, four numbers also. So same as let's try to this thing 18, 48 and take another variable sorry in another number which was divisible by 6, 24. Okay. So now give another thing another here C. So run it. 6 so yeah, so in GCD there is no limit. Okay, we can enter any number of elements so like 10 numbers, and for these 10 numbers which was the greatest common divisor. If you enter 10 numbers in different multipliers, like no each number will be divisible by same number. Okay, then it will show the 1 because 1 can divisible by everything. Sorry, everything will divisible by 1, but it was asked the greatest so that it didn't give the value 1 because other than 1 there are some elements which was divisible by sorry this number will be divisible. So what are the numbers? For example 2, 3 like that. If which we entered a different types of numbers like prime numbers, so then we there is less chances of get sorry there is more chances of getting 1. For example, not more chances, full chances. For example, 11 is a prime number, 13 is a prime number. For these prime numbers, there is only two numbers are factors, which was 1 and itself. So, what is the common, like greatest common divisor, which will divide these prime numbers? Whether itself it will be divisible or 1 will be divisible. So, itself means there is 11 and 13. So, 13 is not divisible by 11. So that oh there is only one answer, that is 1, 29. This is also a what is that? Yeah, prime number. So we get the value 1 for the prime numbers. For example, if you take 12, okay, 33, which was this is divisible by 2, this is divisible by 3, and another one which was divisible by 7 7 so 49, and 49 is not divisible by 3 and 2 also, so 49. So let's check which number will be divisible. 1, because see here 2 is divisible 12 is divisible by 2, but 33 and 49 are not divisible by 2. So when we are going to the 3, so 3 is divisible by both 12 and sorry 12 is 12 and 34 will be both will be divisible by 3. But when we are going to the 49, so 49 is never be divisible by 13. Sorry 3. So when we are going 2, 3, 5. So 5 there is no one element sorry argument will divisible by 5, and other than that 7. So 7 only this number will be divisible, these are not. So like that there is no number which was divisible by a common like yeah a common number. So when you run it you will get 1. After that GCD. So this is how like GCD works. But when we are going to find out like find the value of a GCD for given numbers, so just use this function. But before function make sure you import math, otherwise you did not understand about this name. What is math? It will assume math as a variable, but if you import math then it will consider this GCD was belongs to mathematical function. So it will treat like that. And if you enter any like arguments here, so it will consider them and it will give the exact answer. So after that, trigonometric functions. So these trigonometric functions, which was angle in outside like mathematics, we can go with the angles in degrees or radians like that. But in which Python, so we have to go in a radians format. If he given in degrees like 30 degree, 40 degree, 50 degree like that, you have to convert the degrees into radians and you have to insert the radians inside the sine, cos, tan. But make sure at the positions where you are using these functions belongs to mathematics like radians, degrees, sine, cos, tan. So when you are using these functions in so make sure before that you are using that math dot. So when you're if you didn't use this math dot, then it didn't like it will give an error about the radians. See here, when I removed this math dot, it was getting white. Means radians is a not anymore a function. Like it is a function but not belongs to mathematics. Name radians is not defined. So it assumes like a variable. This radians is a not function anymore. It becomes a variable. So for that variable, you didn't give any value. So that is the reason math dot is important. Without math dot, it never be treated like a function. If you remove math dot here, what will be happen? Sine never be like sine will be a normal variable. So when you add math dot, sine will be a function. So we already know that the difference between a function and a variable which we have to give an answer, but a function which we have to insert some values. Based on that, it will run the loop, like run the code regarding this function. So what which features are given, which properties are given to this sine function, so it goes in that manner. So for example, power, what they like they designed the power in the format of 2 power 5. Like first one is base, second one is exponent. So base power exponent like that. So same way here, when you printed that thing, right? So when you're printing math dot sign, you have to use. Without math, you already know that sign like this function becomes a variable. It sign will be sign is not defined. So yeah, in at here, for example, 30 run it. So the degrees was converted into radians. The radians are inserted. Sorry, yeah, 30 degrees. So which was inside the radians. So you are here converting the degrees to the radians. So now the angle which was in radians was given to the sine. Now sine of the angle means which was radians. So if you want to see the angle, so just print angle, then you can know the value of angle. So what is the value of angle for 30 degree, like 30 degrees? What is the, if you we converted this 30 degrees into radians, we will get 0.5235. So when we inserted into the sine, so 0.52, when we execute this code, so we will get for sine, the sine 30 means like sine 0.523 was 0.499 and cos 0.52 was 0.866, like that. This angle is in radians, not degrees. And after that, for example, we can convert the radians into degree. Like here, what is that? 0.52. Let's copy this thing. For example, this is the radian. Control C. So this is the radian, which was the 0.523598. So keep it at here, and it here you have to do not radians, degrees. Okay. So here, for example, run it 29.99999 and so on, 6 and so on, not like some 15, I think 13 or 15. So after that, 6. So what here going on was print angle. So now the value of angle was 29.99996. So nearly it was, the value was 30. Degrees is somewhat difficult to find, so no problem with that. So here we changed the radians, which was 0.5235. Okay, this is in radians. So we changed the radians into degrees. So which we are using the function. So we are converting into the same units. Like here we used degrees function, so we are converting inside which we entered to the degrees. So here angle is in degrees. So sine 30 was minus 0.9, like that. So after this, here sine the value of sine, so cos. So let's try one thing there. So what is the value of sine? Minus, right? So yeah, minus 0 point, what is the 9898, right? 9880. So we can type it speed 316. So divisible by cos 0.154251. So for example, and like minus 6.405349, like that. So we entered not like every digit here. So that is the reason it was showing like that. If we enter in the calculator and divisible by, sorry, yeah, oh, it was n1 input. Okay, leave it. We will get the 10, right? Minus 6.4053 something. So like that, the sine trigonometric functions works. And after that, logarithms, we already discussed, right, about these logarithms. It works like logical logarithm functions here. So and we're going with this. Okay. Import math is compulsory. So after that, math dot log. What is the difference between both of these was? If you enter same 1000 here, run it. It is natural, it is base 10 log. This is 6.9077. This is 3. So it was having like 10. Okay. So there is a huge value. This is like log to the base 10 of 1000. So we cannot write like here 10, right? So that is the reason we are writing the in the way of log 10 brackets 1000. So we have to write in the paper or in like mathematics. So how we are write log 1000 to the base 10 here at the bottom of the G, right side, right bottom. But here we can't write like that. So log 10 inside the brackets 1000. So 10 power 3 1000. So here 3. This is the natural log, which was log of 1000 6.907. So like that log works 100. If you give 100, it will give the 2 because 10 to the power of 2 was 100. This is 4. 4.605. This is natural log. This is base 10 log. I already previously explained how a log works, right? So log 10 works. Log like log 10 of 1000. So we have to find the value So let's take the value as x because we don't know x. So how we are write like that? So how we are writing was x power 3 is equal to 1000. Like this base power x is equal to here what you write and inside the log. So this is not 3, this is x. So what is the x here? Which like what is the number here? Then we will get 1000. So for 10 to the power of 3, we will get 1000. So value of x was 3 like that. When we given here 1000, we will get 3. When if we give here 100, so 10 to the square 10 to the power of 2, we will get 100. So x becomes 2. This is how an yeah log works. So after that, yeah, and these values of pi, like if you want to write print the values of pi and e, you have to use the same math dot pi. Okay, so when you run it, you give the answer. Otherwise, if you remove this math, then same thing here also happen. Not only functions, when you're going to find the value of pi also, at the position of that, you'll get the same thing that pi it reads the pi in a variable format, not in a keyword. Because if you didn't use math, like if you didn't use math, it will did not read it as a keyword like pi. So 3.114 something. If you remove this, see pi becomes white, then it was a variable. So you have to assign some value there. For pi, the value was 3.14 like 22/7. So for another one like e math.e, the value of e was 2.71. Yeah, 2.7182 like that. So this is the value of e. And another one tau, which was 2 pi, means 6 point. This is the value of pi was 3.14. So the value of tau was, which was double to the pi. So the value of tau was 6.28. Okay, tau means tau. So when you run it, 6.28, 6.28318 something. So this is the values that finds the, like this is the format of finding the values of pi, e, tau, like that. So we have to use math dot tau pi. See, this is here. This is the important basic, like not basic. See the syntax. You have to we remember the syntax means how to write, how many arguments we can give inside a function, like in GC inside the GCD, or what is that power, we have to give two arguments. But GCD we can give a many number of arguments. But inside the what is that square root, not square root, power, we have to give only two because there is only two arguments that are base and exponent. But when you are going through this, what is that? Yeah, square root or ceil, or you can say floor. So for these three functions, you have to give only one argument. So you have to remember these things. So what is the function? If you know about the function, there is no need of remembering that because if you know about the function, then you can easily that how many inputs I have to give for square root. What is the square root? Square root was which was if you enter a number, it will do like power of the power 1 by 2. Okay, power 1 by 2 to the number which we entered. So here one number is enough because 1 by 2 is already fixed there. We are finding when we are finding square root. So 1 by 2 is fixed there. So we have to give only one input. That too, the input was like what you can integer float you can. But when you're if you know about the GCD, so what is the GCD? Yeah, GCD means greatest common divisor. So for greatest common divisor means we are having minimum two elements. So if we are having minimum two elements, then we can find the greatest common divisor. Otherwise, if we enter only 48, 48 itself was the greatest common divisor. See here, GCD. So for example, GCD of 48. So G 48 greatest common divisor of a 48 is a 48, because see here, previously when we are given 18, like 18, 48, 24. So for example, if you take 18, 18 never divisible the 24, never divide the 24. So 18 never be the answer. 16, 16 also never divide the 24. And after that, what you can 8. 8 divides the 48 and 24. But what about 18? Okay. 8 also doesn't divide the 18. So after that, when we are going to the 6, 6 will divide the three numbers which we entered: 48, 24, 18. So that is the reason 6 was the greatest common divisor. Which number divide the numbers which we entered? So, and it have to be it have to be greatest. Okay. For example, 2 can also divide the 24, 48, 18. 2 9, 2 into 9, 18. 2 into 12, 24. 2 into 24, 48. But why we did not choose 2? We only choose 6 because of the here mentioned that greatest common divisor. So 6 is not 6 is greater than 2, right? So that is the greatest common divisor. So in some cases there is 1 also, but 1 is a common divisor for everything, but it is not greatest common divisor. And another numbers also having some greatest, yeah, some of the numbers having are greatest common divisors. It depends on the numbers which we entered. So this is the just in basic examples. I already explained this, but now I explained somewhat deeply. So thank you for watching.